You know, as I was growing up, I was very fortunate to have my father in my life until I was 44 years old. Then my dad died. You know, he was my dude, man. He was my guiding light to manhood. He taught me everything I know about manhood. I didn't have to go nowhere to learn nothing about manhood other than this dude right here. That's why it was really important for me to pass on all the lessons that I learned in my life, that I learned from my father to my own sons. Single mothers raise great students, law-abiding citizens, God-fearing men. They learn respect of women, how to open doors, how to treat a woman. The disadvantage of not having a father is a young man without a father or a role model is like an explorer without a map. When you don't have a father, you know how the feeling that is. So when you become a parent, number one thing you gotta do is the opposite of what your daddy did. The direct opposite. Missed him, don't let your kids miss you. You can learn manhood from other men. He ain't gotta be your daddy. But you know what a good man look like? Do you see this man over here that's taking care of his family, that's making it work, that done bought a house, out there cutting the grass, washing the car, taking the kids to soccer practice? You see a man out there doing that? He can give you some advice. Manhood ain't money. Manhood is a series of action.
So my question to you is, how do I learn how to be a man if I have no man influence in my life?
See, the problem when a father walks out of these dudes' lives is there's a hole in his soul the shape of his father. Here's the deal, single mothers. Every boy is gonna emulate some man somewhere. He could be a good man or he could be a bad man. You got to hair up and get a good man in front of him. It don't have to be the one you dating. I ain't saying you gotta go out and find a man that becomes his daddy and all this here. You just got to help get a young man pointed in his direction. And all you need is somebody older.
Really, like you just wondering why or what can I do to be more of a man or find an example. And just like Steve said, it's really gonna be another person, another man that you have no idea. Because you're so used to not receiving love from a man, you don't know how to be open to receiving it. So now you have to believe that another male can teach you what your dad did.
My mother and I and my baby sister when I was very young. So when I got of age, it was age 17, my mom didn't want to sign the document, but she signed I enlisted in the United States Army to go because we needed money. We was homeless for a year. I went seeking for my mentor. Now you won't find that one thing in that one individual. You'll have multiple mentors or multiple people you can find guidance from. And you just gotta go out there, think about what it is that you want to be, and the things that you need, and create a plan, build a plan to reach that platform. But don't use this as an excuse. That's my number one thing for you today is, don't allow this absence of your father to be a hindrance from you achieving all of your dreams.
See, men, we know what it is to be a man. We know the way, and it ain't easy. Whoa, no, it's not easy. But we know what it is. Everything happened for a reason. There's an opportunity. Man, look, you ain't got to worry. It's a whole lot of dudes ain't had their daddy. There's a whole lot of dudes up here to know how that feel. Men don't have these opportunities to talk. Because where we from, man, we black men. We men of color. Our culture is hard. Latino men, hell, men, period. White men, it's hard. You get around other dudes, it's hard, man. We just men, we ain't supposed to cry. We ain't supposed to be hurt.
I grew up without my father and my mother. Bounced around foster care group homes until I was 18 years old, until I joined the military. So it's imperative for me, for my kids to have that father figure and that mother figure. And me and my kid's mom, we don't have the best relationship, but we live together. I know my kids aren't seeing the healthiest relationship every day, but in the back of my mind, I want them to have both parents.
And then at that situation. It's not good for the kids to see an unhealthy relationship, because if they see it for an extended period of time, that's what they're gonna duplicate. I really understand the dilemma you in. Me and his mom ain't together, but this my son. I'm his daddy. That's what I got to be, his dad. I don't have to stay with his mom. It didn't work out. And it wasn't his mother's fault, and I've said this many times. I was too young at the time. I wasn't the man I needed to be. And so I made some bad decisions along the way. He resented the fact that I left, but I had to go and become who I am today. I wasn't gonna be that in Cleveland, but at the end of the day, I had to come to my children and go, look, man, this decision I made as a man for us to sink or swim. Now, I'm not saying you have to leave her, but either y'all gonna go to counseling and get it right and work through it, or y'all got to go. Now, I ain't pushing divorce, but I ain't finna sit nowhere in misery. I'm not.
My parents got divorced early on, really early on, and my father essentially started his new life without me. And my mother was my best friend growing up, but you know, without a father figure in the house, it was lonely at times, and she worked long hours. Maybe I should see if I can get in touch with him, but I just, that would devastate my mom. You know, she was the one that raised me.
It's not gonna jeopardize anything. It's not gonna change anything between you and your mother. And I know this firsthand. I didn't really have my dad full-time into my life until I was 16, right? They were moving to Atlanta and they said, hey, Broderick, we want you to move with us because we really wanna bring this family together. Now in my mind, I've been living in Cleveland my whole life. I've been living with my mom. It's been me and my mom. That's it. In the back of my mind, I'm like, no, it's gonna hurt my mom. But at 16, I knew that's what I needed as a man. I needed that connection with him. Right. So I 100% stand by you going to open up that conversation, and it's not gonna change anything between you and your mother. It's not. She's gonna feel it some type of way. My mom felt the type of way when I left. Oh, why are you going? He hasn't been, he wasn't here 16 years. Yeah, I got all that, but I know that's what I need. And I know that's what you need too. That's what we need as men. Just like how he wants to open up that door and ask for help. This is you opening up that door and you got it right there.
My son said, you don't know what the decision is, what your father was doing at the time, because your mother and father don't work. That don't mean y'all can't work. She might feel a little some kind of way. What you reaching out to him for? Because he your father and you feel empty without him. That's why. See, sometimes when you grow up, you need to hear both sides. See, you gotta hear both sides. You gotta have this conversation with your father. We've had this conversation. He had to understand what my decision that I made at 25. Come on, man. Come on, 25? I got twins at 25. What I'm doing making decisions. Do you know, man, that at my daughter's, his oldest sister's wedding, at the father-daughter dance, I chose Earth, Wind & Fire's Be Ever Wonderful. We danced the whole record and stood there and cried for 5 minutes. Because I had spent my entire life trying to make up for the mistakes I had made as a young man. But you gotta understand, you gotta forgive your fathers, because they human too. They made mistakes. They made big mistakes. Some dudes don't know how to come back from the mistake. But know this though, their life is in pain without you. Reach out and go, hey man, this is me now, look here. Look here, this is what you didn't raise. But let me tell you who I am, though. Right. Let me introduce myself to you. I'm a father now. I got 2 kids. My kids gonna know me. They gonna know me because I didn't know you. But I love you, and I forgive you what you did to me. I just need you to tell me why you did it so I can hear your side of the story. Because we men now. You won't answer. You ain't no little kid. I had to explain to him what happened. This is what happened, man. This is the decision I made. He told me one day, he said, you know what, Dad, I get it now. He said, you ain't belong to us. You belong to the world. He said, but I'm glad you got me now. We good.